physically, JR needs my support, my physical, my presence. So I just decided um, I'm not gonna work anymore. Like for the whole week, because it happened on a weekend, and I just said, okay, I'm just gonna get the full week to be off work. But after that, you have to think, should I be going back to work? JR is still sick, and I said, you know what? It's okay if I don't have work. And okay, if I have to take care of JR, then I will have to take care of him. And of course, right there and then you would say like, you become so helpless. But I would say all I could think of at the time was, I still have my other kids. I know that God will not forsake us, will not leave us. Like it's part of. I just said, okay, if it's part of life, then it's part of God's plan. Like it's just how you hold on to that promise. Na you'll not be on your own.
Anything, people would be able to pray for him. I mean, we don't care where the news reaches. It goes to Timbuktu, and somebody in Timbuktu would be able to pray for him. But we just didn't want to hide behind the stigma of mental illness. So we just thought that we resolved that whatever happens, because I mean it's still too early to tell, right? We still see him like in a daze, not non-responsive. So we said that we don't care what's going to happen. Like the fact is right now, then we just had to inform people about what's happened. And then when we left, we were told that they just gathered here and prayed. So I'm sure that, and we actually instructed them, please tell other people in our church. Please tell them, ask them to pray for JR.
Of course, I research, but then researching for me just made me so, like, the feeling of panicking. Like, you hear about being this and what to do with it, and this one medication will be contradicting the other medication. Like, you tend to do that. And at some point, I only did that maybe a couple of times at the very start. I think, not that night, but I think the Sunday night, I kind of opened something in the web and looked, and it was just so overwhelming. And I said to myself, I know God is there, and He's not gonna leave us. He's just gonna turn a blind eye on us, on what's happening. So I said, I'm not gonna even read again.
There's no right formula. That's what they keep telling us. There's no right formula that if you do this, your son will get better. So they say if he could be a template, for example, that's what he said. If he could be a template, then we would have cured psychosis a long time ago, or something like that. But unfortunately, there's no. So as I mentioned, you just go. Then you have to really stay healthy, to stay focused. I mean, when you're in the office, focus there, because you're expected to be there. Stay healthy there, so that it's the time for you to be with Jared, for example, you're not from a very down level, and then you drag him as well from the particular level. So you always keep a good perspective of things. Of course, prayer, faith, you have to be, as I mentioned earlier, you don't know exactly when things would get better, but then when things begin to pick up, that you see him getting better, being responsive, I can't even say that maybe I was doing the right thing, but it's just that I would say that in this situation you have to be healthy for your kids, mentally and physically.
What I could kind of share with them is understanding, and continuing to, I would say, love, and not even going against, like, I'm not, it's not, when I say not going against what they feel and what they think, like your kid or your son who is having the illness, but to listen to them, and another thing as well is really pray and be consistent with your faith. I would say our faith in God really, really is a big thing, because we know that God is not just there for happy times. Unfortunately, we have to go through trials, and in our case, God really restored Jay, not just Jay, but us as well. It's still painful when I think about it. It's dreading, but yeah, and to me as well is for parents or loved ones who still have kids who are in that state. I would say, like, don't lose hope, because at the time it seems because there's no right or the best thing to do, but don't lose hope, because there's really a cure, I would say. We still read, we still hear, oh, there is no cure, but we believe there is a cure. And continue to support your kid, your loved one, your child. Continue to support.
I just want to say this. It's not that we decide it in such a way, but it may possible, do your best to make your home a safe place. A place wherein your children would want to be more in than elsewhere. Because we've got some friends who also had challenges like this, that the kids would find comfort elsewhere instead of home. I mean, the best care that they could have, I would say, would be from family. But if they don't see that, then they have to find it elsewhere, comfort. Now, we didn't, as I mentioned, we didn't plan it so that our home would be safe, would be comfortable for them. It's just that we just saw that JR would be comfortable here, and if it were not so, then he would be elsewhere.
Somewhere else. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not that's something hard to do, but it takes working on.
Yeah.
So
Make your home really a home.